Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you things that I crocheted when I first started crocheting. So simple projects and easy fun things to crochet that are great for beginners. I am filming outside today because it's snowing and it's super pretty and the lighting is also really great. So there will be some background noise, but it shouldn't interfere too much. So starting off in the very beginning, this is actually the first thing I ever crocheted. My cousin was teaching me how to crochet, and this is the yarn that my dad had left over, and I used one of his hooks because he crocheted when I was younger. So it's really just the single crochets at the bottom, slip stitches in this row, and then I did some double crochets, and I just practiced that all the way along. I was just getting used to tension and everything, and yeah, it was super fun. Shortly after that, I just played around with crocheting. I started over here and I was doing double crochets, but then I thought, what happens if I space them out? And I learned that you make a curve by spacing it out. So that was super fun. And then I just went back on top to do some more practice and get the repetition in. I definitely recommend playing around with crochet stuff so you can learn what does what. I didn't watch any videos or anything. I just kind of played around to see what would happen. And then I started watching videos once I got the hang of it and the muscle memory a little bit better. So these are the first two things that I ever crocheted, and it was super fun just to get my repetitions in. As you can see, I did not want to continue the super fun doing repetitions because I wanted to make stuff. And it's super duper fun to just learn how your yarn works and how it feels in your hands and all that jazz. So a few days after I did those yellow projects, I got some green yarn. I just went into the craft store and looked for a pretty color yarn that I would just be able to use because I like having my own yarn and I knew I was going to keep crocheting. So this is from the first skein of yarn I bought. I don't remember what, oh, I think it's actually Big Twist. I got one of the Big Twist colors because it's pretty. So I think the fish was actually the first object I learned how to make. This is my first fish. This was actually super fun to do. It's just the treble crochets, half doubles, doubles, and single crochets. It was a nice easy way to get some more repetition in but actually make something. So I really enjoyed doing this, and I made I think 3 or 4 of these. I made one for the kid I nanny and then one for my brother-in-law, and it's hanging from his truck because I just made this yarn tail longer and then made a loop at the top. And I tried to make a tropical fish for the other kid I nanny, but I did only have one color, so it's supposed to be another color in this round. And clearly it's just not flat. So I did not finish this one out. I just decided to make him a different color of this because I did end up getting more yarn. So this was a failed tropical fish, but you can tell it's a fish nonetheless, which is fun. And I did make a couple of these hearts as well, and I gave one to the neighbors of the people I nanny for because their oldest girl liked it, and so I let her have one. But this was super fun to make also because I got to see how you can not just make a magic circle in a circle, you can make it into a shape, which was really nice. I just added a loop at the top because maybe I could use it for a charm one day, I don't know. And then also I made a star. It's nice because you got to connect right here, because as you can see this one's not connected, so you just do it out and then bring it back down, which I thought was super cool. And I only made one of these, I think, or I only have one, but I'm pretty sure I only made one. And then after I did some of these, I wanted to make something a little bigger but still stay on the beginner side, so of course I had to go with the classic coaster. I like this coaster. I think it's really pretty, but I did unfortunately use acrylic yarn because I didn't know any better. And fun fact, if you use acrylic yarn, you can't use it for hot things because it has a higher burn rate or something than the organic cotton and stuff do. I did end up making maybe 5 or 6 of these. I have 2 of them at home. I made 2 for my nail tech, and then I gave one to my parents. This was a super fun beginner project because I got to see how you space the things out, because you can just put a bunch of different stitches in a little hole and it'll open up, which is super cool. This one was really fun to just see how the yarn works and how you can expand it, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one. And then I also made a snowflake, which is appropriate right now because it's snowing, so maybe I'll use this later. So this one was also really fun to do because I got to learn about the ruffles on the end, and it's super fun because you just, I think, double crochet and then slip stitch down, and it makes that little bump, and then you can just do that all the way around. So these were definitely fun first beginner projects and more of a beginner intermediate project to do, as just getting used to the muscle memory and getting your repetitions in without actually just making a bunch of rows. If you know, you know. So moving on to the granny squares, this is also an amazing beginner crochet project, especially the traditional granny squares, because it's just a bunch of treble crochets mixed together and they make super pretty patterns. Excuse the blower in the background, but it's a super easy way to get your reps in as well without actually having to just work in rows. So I love doing this. I did obviously get more colors of yarn because I knew I was going to be doing this for a while and I fell in love with crocheting. I was going to make a blanket out of these because they are pretty big, and I used a bigger hook because I like the look of it. But then I did the math on how many I would have to make, and it was close to 600 for the size that I wanted. So I just cranked them out for a little while because I didn't know what else to do, and I made some small ones because I think these are adorable. Look at the size of these. Oh my goodness, I love it. But yeah, these are super fun in between projects, or just make them while you feel like it and you're in that little granny square phase, so that way you can maybe make something with them later. I definitely want to circle back around to these and make something with them. As you can see, some of my yarn tails are weaved in. I definitely recommend weaving your yarn tails in as you crochet around. If you let them all pile up and you just have a bunch of yarn tails to weave in at the end, it's just not as appealing as if you only have two, or if you just go ahead and get it over with. So I started crocheting in late July, and these worked through August or something, and I figured I wanted to make something for fall. So I thought about making a pumpkin granny square pillowcase cover because I didn't have any festive pillowcase covers for fall, and I made one pumpkin granny square almost all the way. I don't have the little stem on it, but I think this pattern is adorable and I definitely want to make more of these maybe this year for fall. I don't know, it just didn't spark my interest as much or as long as possible. Plus this one is a little wonky, as you can see. I don't have any blocking things yet. I haven't made any or bought any, so I just didn't want to deal with that, and I moved on. So I definitely recommend granny squares as a beginner crochet project because you can get your reps in. As you can see, there's a lot of just the same stitch, but you're not just doing it in rows. Unless you want to make it in rows, you can make blankets and stuff, but for me personally, I wanted to make little things that I could get done fast, because obviously the blanket did not become a blanket unless it's for a little Barbie doll. The next crochet project I made were these little jellyfish. These were so fun to make because they are quick and easy, and I just used my yarn scraps for stuffing them. So I felt like making one of each variation. I made a blue one, a purple one, a purple and blue, and then a blue and purple, just because I felt like it, and I could always gift them to friends as a little extra fluffer in the gift. They're super easy. They're just little single crochets, but they're a different variation of a single crochet actually, because I think you yarn under for these to make them smaller, and then you get a nice soft ruffle on the end, which was super fun to practice with. It was also fun learning how to close and stuff something, and then also to put these in. I just tied them together. That was a nice thing to learn. That was super simple and easy. The snow is really coming down now, so it sounds like carbonation, which is super crazy. I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but anyways, so admittedly, I made this before I made the granny squares. I started making it because I thought it was cute. I actually thought it was going to be smaller. The video thumbnail didn't show a very good reference on how big it was going to be. It's about 5 or 6 inches tall, and as you can see, it's very chunky. This took me forever. Honestly, this probably took me 8 hours to do, just because it was the first amigurumi that I ever made, and there's so many single crochets, and I was not that fast when I started doing it. I am a lot faster now, so I think I could probably do this in about 4 hours. I'm still kind of slow because I enjoy taking my time. I will say this is a great beginner amigurumi because you get to do a little bit of detail without doing a whole bunch of arms and ears and legs and all that stuff. It was nice getting to learn how annoyingly frustrating these little arms are, and these were actually more fun and easy than I thought because you just crochet in a circle and then fold it in half. I got to experiment with the eyes. I didn't feel like buying safety eyes, so I just embroidered them on myself. Same with the nose, as you can tell. I did end up buying little sewing push pins, the little needles with the ball on the end, because I had to keep these in place while I sewed them on. And you're also working into the single crochet foundation chain, so you go in an oval, which I thought was super cool to learn. And I also got to do a lot of decreases and learn how to sew in the ends. I will say this is a great beginner amigurumi because of its simplicity, and you get to get used to all the tension for amigurumi, because as you can see, there's a few holes in here where you can see the stuffing through them, but it's not a super big deal because it is my first amigurumi, and it's just a learning process. The second amigurumi I made was this little koala. He is adorable, and I really just wanted to make something, so I cranked him out in 2.5 or 3 hours. He is a really good size, and it was super fun getting to make the arms and legs and having more to sew in. And I actually attached his arm right here because I thought it looked more cute. I didn't actually add the little ear fluff. I don't know if you've noticed, but koalas have ear fluff, and my koala doesn't have ear fluff. But that's just because I didn't have the brush to be able to fluff it out like the instructions said. So I didn't want to give him strands of ear fluff. And I also did embroider the nose, which was a nice challenge, and it was super fun how to learn to do. As you can see, my stitches are still a bit loose, but the sewing is a bit better than the bear. This is a really great beginner intermediate kind of amigurumi because you get to do a lot of parts and you get to do the nose, and it's just great for learning how to tighten your stitches and learn how to sew on. This is a written pattern, so I will find that and put it in the description. The third amigurumi I made was this adorable little Triceratops. I will say he turned out a lot different than I thought he would, because look at these hips, and we don't want to talk about that. But anyways, you got to use the bobble stitch on this right here, which was super funky and cool to learn how to do. Also, these horns I never want to do again. They were so difficult for no reason. I think actually because the yarn is white and because they're so small. I definitely don't recommend this for very beginners because it's just annoying. I will say it was really fun learning how to connect the 2 feet because you make one foot and then you make another one and you don't yarn off, and then you just continue the body all the way around working in your rows, which was super cool. And then I got to attach the arms at the sides, and the head is attached differently. I did not know that he was going to be like this. And then you also have the ruffle at the top, so it's a nice variety of stitches and techniques, but it's not very beginner friendly. So those were all the projects that I made in the first couple months of my crochet journey. I will link all of those in the description so you can try them out yourself and let me know how you like them. I hope this video gave you some ideas of what you can do as a beginner instead of just doing rows and blankets. If you found this video helpful, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. That would be great. Comment down below what you want to try out first, and happy crocheting. Thanks for watching.